Welcome to the deep dive. We're jumping into something, well, pretty revolutionary today, but also, let's be honest, complicated. It's called Bittensor, or TAO.
That's right. And its mission is huge. Basically, to rewire how artificial intelligence gets built, shared, and even paid for.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you sent us this incredible stack of sources. We've got economic models, technical deep dives, even some pretty sharp critiques.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
So our job today is to cut through all the noise, the acronyms, the jargon, and give you the real picture. What does Bittensor actually do? Why all the buzz?
And maybe most importantly, what are the big risks? Because this thing isn't straightforward.
Definitely not, especially when people start throwing around comparisons like,
The Bitcoin for AI. It's a massive claim, isn't it? Almost audacious.
it really is. So is it just brilliant marketing, or is there a genuine technological leap happening here? That's what we need to figure out.
Okay, so let's start with the why. What problem is Bittensor even trying to solve?
Well, you just have to look around at the current state of AI.
It's pretty concentrated, right? Overwhelmingly so. I mean, think about the really powerful AI models, the big language models, the best image generators. Who controls them?
It's the usual suspects. Google, Microsoft, OpenAI, a tiny handful of giants.
Exactly. And that creates these walled gardens. Everything happens inside their systems on their terms.
And those walls have real consequences, don't they?
Yeah.
The sources really hammer this point home. Innovation gets stifled because it's all happening in silos.
Right, the economic benefits, they all flow to the top, to those few companies.
And for you, the user, or maybe a smaller company, trying to build something cool, you're stuck. Limited choices relying on these giants. And if one of them hiccups,
Like if OpenAI has an outage.
yeah, suddenly 1,000 apps that depend on it just break. It's a huge single point of failure.
So Bittensor's goal is fundamentally about smashing those walls. It's about tearing down that monopoly.
So they're not just trying to build like a better AI model themselves.
No, that's not the primary goal. It's
Right.
much bigger than that. They want to build an economy for AI. Think open, permissionless, global.
And incentivized with its own token, TAO.
Precisely. The idea is to shift AI away from being this top-down corporate thing into a bottom-up, competitive, decentralized market.
Right.
Thousands of people, thousands of teams, all contributing and getting paid directly for the value they create.
Okay, so let's grab onto that big analogy everyone's using. The Bitcoin for AI. It sounds catchy, but what does it really mean in practice?
It's actually a surprisingly good analogy once you unpack it. Think about Bitcoin. Did it invent digital cash? No, not really.
Right. There were attempts before.
But what Bitcoin did was create a system, a decentralized, trustable global market for transferring value, a mechanism.
Okay.
Bittensor is trying to do the exact same thing, but for intelligence, not money. It's not building one giant AI to rule them all.
So it's not like competing head-to-head with ChatGPT is just another product.
Exactly. It's building the underlying economic infrastructure, the rails, you could say, the market rules that encourage thousands of different AIs to be built, compete, collaborate, and specialize.
So it's the system that matters most.
It's all about the system. Just like Bitcoin uses mining to distribute currency in a decentralized way, Bittensor uses its token, TAO, and its market mechanics to distribute rewards, basically, funding to whoever creates the most valuable intelligence.
So the mission is, well, it sounds quite democratic, actually. Trying to give everyone, everywhere, a fair shot at building and owning a piece of the AI future.
That's the vision. Democratizing access, democratizing ownership, taking AI out of the hands of the few.
All right, this is where things usually get tricky. The how. How does a decentralized network actually figure out which AI is good or valuable and, how much it should be paid? That sounds complicated.
It is, but we can break it down. Imagine a building with 2 floors.
A two-story building.
The ground floor, layer 1, that's the main blockchain. It's called Subtensor. Think of it as the foundation, the coordinator. It handles the TAO tokens, enforces the basic rules, keeps track of everything.
So the boring but essential plumbing.
Kind of, yeah. But the real action, all the exciting stuff, the competition, the innovation that happens upstairs on layer 2, in what they call the subnets.
Subnets. And these aren't just one big thing.
No, not at all. There are, over 129 of them now? And each one is like its own specialized little marketplace, hyper-focused.
So one subnet might just be for generating text, like chatbots.
Exactly. Another one purely for predicting financial markets. Maybe another for creating images or detecting deepfakes or translating languages. each one a competitive arena for a specific AI task.
Okay, specialized markets. But how does the money flow? How do they compete? You mentioned an upgrade, DTAO.
Right, the dynamic TAO upgrade early in 2025 really turbocharged this. The whole system now works a bit like a super efficient, decentralized venture capital firm. It's a great analogy from the sources.
A decentralized VC. Okay,
Yeah.
let's walk through it. Who are the players?
Okay, three main groups. First, you've got the developers. In Bittensor, they're called miners. These are the teams actually building the AI services. Maybe they create a new super fast text model and launch it into the text generation subnet.
So they're like the startup founders pitching their idea.
Exactly. Then you have the investors. These are stakers and validators in the system. Their job is like the VCs or market analysts. They constantly scan all these subnets, these 129 plus little AI markets.
And try to figure out which ones are actually good, which ones have potential.
Precisely. But they don't just vote or give a thumbs up. They put their money where their mouth is. They invest TAO tokens into the subnets they believe in.
How does that work? Investing TAO.
They use their TAO to buy special tokens unique to that specific subnet. Think of them as alpha tokens. They're like buying shares or stock in that particular little AI market. It signals belief in its future value.
Okay, so staking TAO acts like a direct investment, showing the market's confidence in that subnet's AI.
Exactly right. And here's the crucial part. The amount of TAO staked in a subnet becomes its perceived market value.
And why does that perceived value matter so much?
Because the entire Bittensor network distributes its daily rewards, its funding based directly on that staked value. Every day, the network mints a pool of new TAO tokens.
The daily emission, right? About 7,200 TAO currently.
Yes. And the system automatically allocates the lion's share of those rewards to the subnets that have the most TAO staked in them.
Whoa. So if your AI model in subnet, say 8 for finance, is seen as really valuable, people stake TAO there.
And bam! The network automatically sends more of the daily PAO reward pool your way. More funding flows to you instantly.
It's incredibly direct. It's like a real-time global funding competition driven purely by the market's assessment of value. No smoky backroom VC deals.
None. It's transparent, automated economic pressure, build something useful, attract investment, get funded, build something mediocre.
And the funding dries up. Wow. Okay, that sounds like a powerful engine. But you flagged something big coming up a stress test.
Yeah.
The halving.
Yes, this is huge. Around December 2025, Bittensor is expected to have its first halving, just like Bitcoin.
Meaning the daily reward pool gets cut.
Cut in half. From 7,200 TAO per day down to 3,600. Overnight, the total network budget is slashed by 50%.
Oof. What does that do to the competition?
It cranks it up intensely. Right now, maybe there's enough funding floating around to support some okay subnets, ones that aren't amazing.
But after the halving,
the capital gets way tighter. It'll force a consolidation. The weaker subnets, the ones not providing real competitive value that attracts staking, they'll likely be starved of funds and wither away.
so it's like economic natural selection gets much harsher. Only the fittest AI markets survive.
Exactly. It's designed to ruthlessly prune the network and concentrate capital on the most useful, most efficient forms of intelligence. Evolution by market pressure.
Okay, let's bring this down to earth. All this complex market stuff, subnets, halvings. What does it actually mean for, say, a regular developer building an app, or even just an end user? Why should they care?
It means better performance, more choice, and less censorship. Let's take that developer building an app that needs text generation.
Instead of just plugging into OpenAI's API and hoping for the best.
Right. They could tap into the Bittensor network, maybe query Subnet 1 or Subnet 4, the ones focused on text. What they get isn't one single model, but access to a whole pool of competing models within that subnet.
And the market mechanism ensures
That the best performing, most cost-effective models within that subnet are the ones that thrive and solve the requests. The slow, expensive, or low-quality ones get outcompeted. So the developer, and ultimately their users, should always get access to the cutting edge of what that specific market can offer.
And this isn't just for generic chatbots, you said. The specialized subnets matter here.
Hugely. Need images. There's Subnet 19. Need financial predictions. Subnet 8. We even saw specific utility examples like Bitmind in one subnet focusing just on detecting deepfakes. That's incredibly specific.
So the benefit is you get access to the most competitive, potentially most advanced, and importantly, censorship-resistant intelligence for whatever task you need. Because it's decentralized, no single company can easily shut down or control access to a specific type of intelligence. if the market values it.
That's the core value proposition for users and developers. Access to a dynamic, resilient, global intelligence market.
And it seems like bigger players are starting to notice this potential, right? You mentioned grayscale.
Yeah, that was a significant signal. In October 2025, Grayscale, a major digital asset investment firm, filed a Form 10. That's basically the paperwork needed to register a Bittensor trust.
Which means?
It's the standard preparatory step they take before potentially offering a financial product like an ETF or similar structure that would allow traditional investors, institutions, to get exposure to TAO through familiar channels. Doesn't guarantee a product launch, but it shows serious institutional interest and groundwork being laid.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly innovative on the economic layer, the subnets. But here's where, honestly, it gets really fascinating and maybe a bit scary. There's a fundamental contradiction, a paradox, at the heart of Bittensor, according to the sources.
There absolutely is, and it's crucial to understand this risk. While Layer 2, the subnet economy, is designed to be brilliantly decentralized.
The foundation it's built on, Layer 1 subtensor, is not.
Exactly. That's the core centralization risk. The main blockchain, subtensor, doesn't currently run on something decentralized like Bitcoin's proof of work or a typical proof-of-stake system. It runs on proof of authority, PoA.
Proof of authority, what does that mean in simple terms?
It means control. It means the authority to validate transactions and run the chain rests with a small, pre-approved group of entities. In Bittensor's case, that authority lies squarely with the Open Tensor Foundation, the OTF.
So they hold the keys to the kingdom. They have the ultimate control, like a master switch.
Essentially, yes, a kill switch, as you put it. And this isn't just theoretical. We saw them use it. Back in July 2024, there was a serious security issue, a supply chain attack discovered. What did the OTF do? They halted the entire blockchain, just stopped it.
Whoa, they just turned off the whole Bittensor network.
Yes, to deploy a fix and prevent catastrophe. Now, their intention was good, protect the network, protect users' funds, but the action itself was undeniable proof.
Proof that a central entity can shut the whole thing down.
Precisely. Which, you have to ask, how does that square with the vision of a truly decentralized, censorship-resistant AI network? If you're building a serious business on Layer 2, relying on those subnets, the fact that Layer 1 can be switched off by a foundation, well, that's a major risk. It confirms PoA is a single point of failure.
That's a huge conflict with the core premise. Okay,
Yeah.
what's the second major risk flagged in the sources? Something about token distribution.
Right. This one challenges that Bitcoin for AI comparison again, specifically the fair launch part. Bitcoin is famous for having no pre-mine, no insider allocation. Everyone started mining on day one under the same rules.
But TAO's launch wasn't quite like that.
Critics point out that it's highly debatable. Between 2021 and 2023, a huge chunk of TAO was mined, about 5.38 million tokens. That was something like 62.5% of the total supply circulating at the end of that period.
62%. Mined early on. By whom?
That's the criticism. It happened in what's described as a closed environment. The beneficiaries weren't just random miners jumping in. It included insiders and early venture capital backers. Firms like Polychain and DCG are mentioned.
Okay, so VCs and insiders got a very large slice of the pie very early on.
Yes. And the concern is that this creates a massive shadow supply. A huge amount of TAO concentrated in relatively few hands from the very beginning. And critically, there's no formal vesting schedule on these early mined tokens, no lockup period saying they have to hold them for X number of years.
Meaning they could theoretically sell large amounts at any time, creating huge sell pressure.
That's the risk. A significant long-term concentration risk lurking beneath the surface of this otherwise decentralized market system. It undermines the fair launch narrative pretty substantially.
Okay, so let's try and boil this down. We've got two very different sides to the Bittensor coin, don't we?
We really do.
On one hand, you have this incredibly ambitious, genuinely innovative project. It successfully built this complex, market-driven economic layer, the subnets, the DTAO system, that really could decentralize how AI is developed and funded.
Absolutely. The Layer 2 innovation is undeniable and potentially game-changing. But, and it's a huge but, it's all currently operating under this fundamental paradox.
Paradox being?
That its revolutionary decentralized AI vision on Layer 2 is completely dependent on a centralized Layer 1 foundation, the proof of authority chain controlled by the Open Tensor Foundation. That dependence is the key risk everyone needs to watch. #ChagTag provocative final thought. Which leads us to the final thought. The thing everyone invested or interested in Bittensor should be focused on? The entire long-term credibility, the realization of that Bitcoin for AI dream, it all hangs on one single critical development. The Open Tensor Foundation has to follow through on its plan to transition Layer 1. They need to move away from that centralized proof of authority.
To a genuinely decentralized system, like proof
Yeah.
of stake, where control isn't in the hands of the foundation anymore.
Exactly. That transition is on their roadmap. They talk about it. But here's the kicker. As of late 2025, there is still no official confirmed date for when this absolutely crucial transition will actually happen. It's planned, but not scheduled. And until it happens, that centralization risk remains the project's Achilles heel. Hashtag tag native ad readout.
If you found this interesting, please like and subscribe to the channel. We do all the complex research so you don't have to. Hashtag tag friendly farewell.
Yeah.
Wow, okay, that was definitely a deep dive into Bittensor, the incredible potential and the very significant risks. Lots to think about there. Thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.